please subscribe to the channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been quite some time since Canon released the G5X camera. Over what? Over since 2015, so over 9 years now, nine to going into like 10 years. And there is really no indication as if Canon is going to release the Mark III of this camera. I don't even know if there is a Mark II actually. Yeah, there is a Mark II that was released in 2019. And it took them time to release that. That's 2019, maybe another 3 years after they should have released another camera like the G5X. I've spoken about this camera before in one of my video, and that video did very well, unexpectedly so well. I think a lot of people are longing for a small camera, very compact like this. And I know I've been bashing Canon, but they are a pretty solid brand. So I have this camera here, which is my 800D. I'm actually saying goodbye to it very soon because I just feel like it's time for me to move. I am moving to Fuji, as I said, and I've slowly but surely transitioned to that camera. My wife actually doesn't want me to sell it because she loves the Canon color so much. And that is true, that is for a fact. So, but I am potentially keeping this camera, but I have a few gripes with it because it doesn't have a really good battery life. It's very tiny, very small, as you can see. It doesn't last very long. The dynamic range is not on par. This camera was released in 2015. I can still do a few things with it. I can still get away with shooting with it. If, for example, I forget my one of my bigger camera, it came in a pinch a few times and it saved me a bunch. So, but I think it's long overdue an upgrade this camera because it just doesn't cut it anymore. When you have Sony releasing some of its compact camera like the Sony ZV-E10L, I think that's one with a fixed camera, even the RX107 and so forth and so on, the RX100 series, I think is always better than this camera in some sorts because those cameras do not hold back at all. And that's always been the issue with Canon. I think these cameras are long overdue. I think you have the G7X Mark III that came out that did pretty well with vloggers here and there, but I've seen a lot of people pivot towards Sony because they just couldn't find value anymore in this Canon anymore. And that is so regrettable because Canon has always been in the forefront of innovation at some times, but I feel like they have been kind of lagging behind. This camera needs a refresh. This camera needs an upgrade, and that is for sure. You can see the form factor is very enticing because it is very small, as you can see, very small, as you can see for yourself, and you can't debate. It is very small, very functional. It has enough dial. You can shoot it with one hand, and it has an amazing. That's one thing that it really has. It has a very good zoom range. You know, and the aperture is very good and acceptable as well because it goes from 1.8 to 1.8 to 2.8, so that's very good aperture for a camera of this size. That is something that you can't really debate. So I was on the Canon website where I was checking out this camera, and you have like really good aperture, very wide, 4x optical zoom. The button placement is very good. The video features on this camera are really also good, but it needs a refresher. I think it needs to get slightly bigger, and by getting slightly bigger, it also needs a new battery. So if they can use maybe this LPE17 battery that are used on, for example, the 800D and all the other like I think 750D, 720D, the Rebel type of camera, that will also be good because this tiny battery has very horrible life, to be honest. And I would also love to have Type-C not recording, Type-C charging, because that's something that Canon hasn't been doing until very recently, which is very strange when you consider that other brands like Fuji has been doing it since the X-T2 that came out, I think in 2014, if not before. So they have a few refreshers that this camera have. They need to put 10 bits video recording in this camera because you have the Fuji X100 VI that has 10 bits into it. So the sensor size, I don't mind even if it's still small. I don't really mind that much, but I think battery size, video capability need to be improved. The obviously as well, I think there's a little bit of a tweaking on this camera to make it very limited. It doesn't have picture profile. doesn't have picture profile. This camera doesn't have picture profile, and that's something that is unacceptable. I think this is definitely unacceptable at this time, at this day and age. This camera doesn't have any picture profile. I am not able to change the picture profile when I'm shooting photos. So you go with what you have. Luckily, you shoot RAW, so with RAW you don't really have that problem with photos. But I think with video, it definitely needs to get some picture profile. I don't necessarily want log profile on this, but I wouldn't mind having a wide gamut type of profile on this camera. So that's, for me, this camera need a refresher. It's a very good companion, and it's very, very small. So if I compare it, for example, with my Fuji X-T1, the size are not very much far apart. Obviously, these two cameras can't really be compared because this is an interchangeable. But you can see in terms of the the width is pretty similar. Obviously, the height's a little bit, yeah, this one is definitely smaller. But I wouldn't really mind like a bigger battery on that camera just to make it really better, to be honest. Really better. I mean, that camera is already good. For the time it came out, it was already really good. It had a lot of things for it, and it has one of the best connectivity. You can pull your camera, your photos and your data out of the camera with the internet. It has a really good, I don't know if it's magnesium or plastic, but the body is good. You can see mine is very banged up, but it's still holding up pretty well. I have this camera in 2019, if not 2020, and it has served me pretty good. Mike actually said it because I haven't been using it much as well. It's a good behind the scene camera, but I don't know if it really adds a lot of value into what I do, because as I say, I want to change, moving to another brand, so I need all the money that I can to be able to afford and buy a newer camera. So yeah, guys, I mean, Canon really needs to upgrade this camera. The camera that they came out with was that Canon, what is it again? Let me check. There's that camera that a lot of people didn't really like a lot. That was very small and not really. Yeah, the PowerShot V10. That camera was never really a good seller. I will just pop it up here on the screen so that you guys be able to see. That camera never really, people never really liked it much. So this camera here was, I think it was a bummer for Canon. This camera was never really well accepted. So there's the G1X Mark III. This one I don't even know when it came out. So these are the compact camera that Canon kind of still sell. This is in South Africa, obviously. Yeah, this one was just, I think this one just a failure, to be honest. This is a no, a big no camera, and a lot of people did reviews on it, and I never knew if it sold well. You know, they really tried to sell the camera. It had Type C, but yeah, this was just a big no. Color filter and stuff. You know, it was never a good seller. So yeah, that's pretty much it for what I think about an upgrade, a due upgrade for this camera. They are releasing the R5 Mark II. They've released the R1. They've released the C400, the C80. They've released an amazing lineup of lenses. And yeah, I think it's about time that we get a new compact body. I'll see you guys in the next video. Please subscribe. I think I'll put this at the beginning of the video. We are growing. People are viewing. People are watching. I'm loving your comments. Please do subscribe. We'll be doing our reaction as we've been doing it. Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Peace out.